talking about social media being shortcuts to our lives. I remember I did not want to have social media accounts before. And my first Instagram account, for example, I had a Twitter account, I had Snapchat that I barely used. I deleted that so quick because I was like, what is this? Facebook, I barely use it, barely post. Twitter, like all these things, to me, it was just too much. And for Instagram, I think with Instagram, the first Instagram I had, my best friend at the time created it for me, and I was like, whatever, because she couldn't fathom, she couldn't understand the fact that I did not have an Instagram. So whatever, it was very common back then. So I was like, whatever, okay, and I did start posting, etc. And at some point, I said, what? Yeah, no, it's not for me. I deleted it and spent like 3 years without Instagram. And then at some point, so many people were telling me how I was missing out. So many people, also, I went into work in certain areas, and they required, every time I would reach out to people, they would require me to have a social media account. And I was like, why does that matter so much? Like, if I come to you, I tell you, hey, this is what I have, these are my skills, this is what I have, this is my face, this is, like, you have it all, you have all your information in it. But they needed me to have an Instagram account, and I said, okay, whatever, and I did it. So I created that Instagram account for that purpose, and it ended up just being my personal media account. Social media account, where I share all kinds of things. And I ended up giving in. I ended up liking it, but not liking it. It's like I'm sharing things about myself. Sometimes I question that desire of me wanting to share. And I started actually craving that rush, that these reactions, people saying, hey, this, that. And that was never me before. That was never, I remember when I first got on Instagram, I didn't even want to show my face. I was like, I don't know, maybe I share a picture once in a while, or I might, and I barely had pictures of myself too. Um, that's crazy when I think about it. That's crazy. I did not care about these things at all. Like, I would take pictures of myself, but it was more like in an artsy way. I would do something, and then I would pose and then use it. It was just very artsy, and there was no expectation from that picture, for that picture. Um, and it wouldn't go anywhere. So maybe I would print it. I don't know. Not even. It was just for the pure enjoyment of that moment of creating something, an image, something I had in mind that I wanted to bring to life. And it would stay there. But with time, as I was on the app, I felt more like, at the beginning, I would just listen to my voice, to my thoughts, to myself, and what I wanted to do. So I would do random collages, random stuff, and share. But at some point, something shifted. My It didn't come from a place of having fun anymore. I wanted to feed the feed. I wanted to feed people. I became the object. I turned myself into entertainment for other people. That is a very difficult thing to do. That is a very difficult place to be in. And that I had this whole time using Instagram. I had this conflict, um, because Instagram had become, I mean, my ideal, my desire was to not have any social media. But at the same time, I liked the sharing part. Not necessarily because of reactions, but I also liked putting my ideas out there and sharing messages with people. So I had three things combined here: my desire to not be on the app, my desire to share important messages um, and stuff like that with other people and talk about social phenomenons. Then I had another desire, which was a desire that wasn't completely, it was just weird, a completely mine, and it's to please people, I guess, or to get reactions, and that has really taken a toll on me, on the things I create, my art, my writing, and the things I share in general, like my freedom of sharing. I think there's something, I mean, with social media in general, but with Instagram and probably TikTok too, but I think with Instagram, um, it got deeper, and I remember I'm trying to figure out why, and I think it's because Instagram, well, there's social media too, but with Instagram, it's a mirror. You know, mirrors are a big problem in our society. Reflections in general. Reflections are necessary, but they're not very natural in the sense where normally we don't see our faces too much. We can't really see our faces. Um, and we get hints from what people tell us. Our faces express stuff to other people, and other people send messages to us. And with photos, we have an idea of what we look like, even if it's not completely accurate. Sometimes, maybe, um, we know how we look like. But the constant, the fact that you have your profile, which is so organized, because I think for other platforms it's not as well put. Um, it might depend on the platform, but let's say Facebook, you enter on someone's page, you see their profile picture, the banner, then that's basically it. And you see a couple of posts here and there and list of friends. It's just like, but in Instagram, it's very neat, and you you might be attracted to that. You might fall in love with that mirror, and it doesn't work like that with other platforms like Twitter and stuff like where you write, and YouTube. With YouTube, it could, but it's just not the same. So Instagram is really a mirror, and what it does is you see yourself, you project an image, and that image starts to get reactions. So you kind of try to adjust to that image. You want to maintain that image. You start to fall in love with that image because you receive a lot of praise, a lot of comments, likes. You see who likes your pictures. That is something that is just not normal in life. You don't really know what people think. You don't know what they like. You don't know what they dislike. It just, unless they say it or they actively show it to you, and it's one person at a time, maybe two or three. Like, only the only people I can say that had a mirror and that could have thousands of people reacting to them at once was celebrities, artists, famous people. And that's why they also tend to be narcissistic, because I don't know if that would be a consequence or if it's just them getting there because they're narcissistic. Not in all cases, but I do think being there on the spot, being a celebrity, being an artist, you get to see a mirror. You get to see people reacting to you, to your image, what you want. So you get reactions and reactions, and become, you want to maintain that image, which is only just one part of you. But anyways, to go back to what I was saying, um, you then start to have a particular image of yourself done, um, and that is dangerous. It's dangerous. um, I've noticed too that I started taking more pictures of myself, because before, when I was going out with my friends, um, I was even pissed sometimes that they would want to be taking pictures so much. I was pissed. I was like, I don't need pictures. Why are you film? Why are you even filming at all? Like, you could be filming something, which I don't mind because I do want memories. But it's not normal that we have so many photos, so many pictures. So it's not. It's like, it's as if there's no aspect of our life that can go forgotten. That can be forgotten. It's like everything remains there. Like the past never really leaves. You remain in it. Immersed? Yeah. In the past. You cannot really let go of it. It doesn't sleep away because we focus too much on withholding everything. Because you can have some pictures. It's weird because before we would have one picture of one event. Sometimes I would have one picture that um, one printed picture of one birthday, for example, my sixth birthday, and that is the picture I had, because all the others were ruined because of the film, or maybe they had just taken one. And that was enough to remember that moment and to feel joy about that moment. Oh my God, like you're even trying to remember yourself, to maybe reconstruct that memory or go back to it, and it's fresh because you've never consulted it. So when you see that picture, it's like, wow, like a travel back in time. You're like, wow, oh my God. But with my phone, I'm just tired of always remembering things through my phone's gallery, because there's nothing I actually forget completely. I always have photos showing up. For example, on my phone, sometimes the phone shows me pictures, random pictures of 5 years ago that I had no business remembering, that I didn't want to remember, but I went on talking about. But it keeps on it keeps on saying, hey, you have this information, this person, this moment, featured moments, this girl. And what does that do to us? To be traveling with so much information. I can't remember. There's a lot of things I can't remember. I know I don't even have to remember them because my phone is there. And that is sad. Because where is this going? Anyways. We need to do something about that.